If beauty could kill, Amara would have wiped out half of the male population in Enugu. She was tall, slender, and walked like a breeze, light, slow, and graceful. Her dark skin glowed even under the harsh afternoon sun. Her eyes, sharp, almond-shaped, always lined with black coal that gave her a mysterious charm, and her lips, full and red like hibiscus petals, carved into a smile that could weaken the knees of even the strongest men. Wherever Amara went, heads turned, conversations stopped. Even married men adjusted their wedding rings, and women secretly checked their mirrors, wondering how one person could be so stunning. Amara knew she was beautiful, too beautiful, and slowly that beauty got into her head. She started using it to get things: free rides, free food, free money. And when she discovered how men were willing to do anything just to be with her, she began playing the game well, too well. It started with Tochi, the church keyboardist who gave her his entire salary just to spend the weekend with her. Then came Mr. Ken, a Facebook friend who started sending her dollars from abroad after just one steamy video call. After that, the line of men grew longer than the queue at NNPC during fuel scarcity. At first, she told herself it was survival. A girl has to hustle, she would say, but deep down, Amara had changed. She wasn't that shy church girl anymore, the one who cried when her skirt tore during Sunday service. That version of her was long dead. The new Amara was bold, wild, and daring. By the time she turned 24, Amara had already aborted 3 pregnancies. 3 innocent lives, all swept away like they never mattered. She never told anyone, not even her best friend. She buried the memories deep in her heart and told herself it was better that way. After all, she wasn't ready to be a mother. She wanted to enjoy life first. It was her second year in university when it happened. At first, Amara didn't even realize she was pregnant. She only noticed her jeans stopped fitting, her waist was getting thick, and her face had started puffing up a little. At first, she thought it was just enjoyment weight. After all, Abby had taken her to Kilimanjaro almost every weekend, and Ken was constantly sending food money from abroad. But when her favorite bodycon dress refused to go past her thighs, something shifted in her. Strangely, she had still been seeing her period, light and irregular, but it came. That alone gave her confidence that nothing was wrong, until one evening, standing half naked in front of her mirror, Amara placed her hand on her slightly rounded belly. That was when the panic hit her chest like a hammer. She dashed to the nearest pharmacy and bought a pregnancy test kit. She couldn't even wait to get home. She used the small restroom behind the shop. The 2 red lines appeared before she even capped the stick. Positive. Her mouth went dried. Her hands trembled. How? She whispered. But I have been seeing my period. How? Fear swallowed her whole. Her knees buckled and she sank onto the restroom floor, her back against the cold wall. She couldn't cry. She couldn't think. All she could hear was the echo of her own heartbeat in her ears. That night, she swallowed a bunch of pills she had used before, but unlike the other times, nothing happened. No cramps, no bleeding, no pain, just silence and a heavy stomach that seemed to mock her every breath. 2 days passed, then 3, still nothing. Desperate and confused, Amara confided in her friend Tola, a wild girl with sharp ideas and no sense of fear. Tola listened quietly, then whispered, "Babe, forget those drugs. Sometimes, they work when belle don't pass 3 months. But there is a way, fast and cheap." Hanger. Amara's eyes widened. "You mean like cloth hanger?" Tola nodded. "Na sharp thing. Once the hanger enter inside, everything go come out." Amara almost vomited. "Jesus, Tola, abeg I no fit." "Wait first, wait. How long you don't carry this thing self?" Amara shrugged, her voice shaking. I don't know. I just started noticing weight gain." "Go hospital, find out first, then let me know." Amara visited 2 different clinics. one private, one government, and both gave the same heartbreaking truth. She was almost 6 months gone. 6. It felt like a death sentence. Amara staggered out of the hospital, her mind spinning. How would her parents take it? Her mother would collapse. Her father would disown her. The shame in church will be unbearable. How would people look at her? That night, after hours of lying awake, staring into darkness, Amara made her decision. She picked up her phone and called Tola. Her voice was slow, almost a whisper. I'm ready. Tola didn't flinch. Okay, we go run am in 2 days. That one will give me time to get the materials, especially the cloth hanger. Amara froze at the mention of cloth hanger. Her stomach churned, but she said nothing. She had made her choice. It was a Friday evening. The rain hadn't started yet, but the clouds outside were pregnant with it. The whole sky was grey, as if the heavens were mourning something yet to happen. Amara lay on a foam mattress covered with Macintosh, legs apart, palms sweaty. Her heart was pounding hard enough to break her ribs. Tola knelt between her thighs, cloth hanger in hand. You sure say you still want do am? She asked. Amara nodded slowly. Just do it fast. Then relax your legs. If you struggle too much, if it wound you. Before Amara could prepare herself, the end of the hanger slid in. Ah! She screamed loud, sharp and raw, but immediately beat down on her lower lip to muffle it. Blood filled her mouth as the pain exploded through her body like acid. Her back arched, her legs kicked, her eyes watered. And just when she thought she would die from the pain, she felt a shift, something leaving her. And then it came out, small, bloody, still connected by something slimy. But the most horrifying part, it was still moving. The limbs twitched weakly, its tiny fingers curled like it was trying to leave. Amara's eyes widened, and then darkness. She passed out. When she woke up, the room was quiet again. She could hear faint thunder in the distance. Tola was standing by her side, holding out a black nylon bag. Take am, she said coldly. My work don't finish. Amara reached out with trembling hands, but the moment she touched the bag, she gasped. Tola, it's still moving. Tola rolled her eyes. Do you want to keep it? Amara stared at her, face pale, lips cracked. Then she slowly shook her head. No, I don't want to keep it. Tola rolled her eyes. Oh yeah, get up, let's go. Still dizzy, Amara followed her. They walked through the back of the compound, past the rusty zinc fence, into the bush behind the last line of buildings until they got to a mango tree. Then, Tola used the broken plank to dig the earth. Amara was too weak to help. When the shallow hole was ready, without a word, Tola nodded at her. With trembling hands, Amara dropped the bag in, eyes locked on the soil like it could swallow her too. They didn't pray, they didn't speak, they simply covered it up like it never existed. But it did, and the ground, it remembered. That night, Amara lay in bed, shaking and bleeding. She thought she would feel relief. The pain was gone, but something heavier had entered her chest. She had gotten rid of the baby, but not the guilt, not the shadow. Amara was no longer the wild girl from the streets of Enugu. She was now Mrs. Amara Obilo, married to a Booby, a calm businessman who loved her deeply. They lived in a quiet estate in Port Harcourt, a new city, a fresh beginning. No one knew her past. Life looked good on the outside, but the past had not forgotten her. It started subtly. One night, Amara was standing under a mango tree, the same one behind Tola's compound. Everything was still, too still. Suddenly, a hand shot out from the ground, then another. Before she could move, the earth cracked open with a violent tremor and a loud screeching wail tore through the air. Then, with a forceful pull, a faceless human figure erupted from the soil. Its skin was pale, raw, its body soaked in blood and afterbirth. It had no nose, No mouth, just a single eye in the middle of its forehead, staring straight at her. It reached toward her. "Mommy!" Amara let out a loud, blood-curdling scream and jolted awake, gasping, drenched in sweat. Ibube sat up in panic, grabbing her shoulders.
Amara, what is it? What happened?
But she couldn't speak. Her chest heaved as she tried to catch her breath, her eyes glued to the corner of the room, as if something had followed her back from the dream. Then she looked down. Blood. A large patch of blood was spreading on the bedsheet between her thighs. She froze. Ibube gasped.
Jesus! Amara, you are bleeding!
She had just miscarried. At the hospital, the doctor called it stress, but Amara knew better. Something from her past had found her, and this was just the beginning. 3 months had passed since Amara lost the pregnancy. She had tried to heal, emotionally, physically, but something inside her still shifted. She barely smiled anymore. Her appetite was gone, and each time she closed her eyes, she saw that single eye, the one that stared at her from beneath the mango tree in her dream. But tonight felt different. The weather was calm. The room smelled of lavender. For once, her heart wasn't racing. She had just stepped out of the bathroom, skin still damp, and stood in front of the mirror tying her robe. A soft breeze came in through the window, brushing her cheeks. Then she heard it. A baby's cry. Soft, distant, yet chilling. She turned around quickly. The room was empty. She waited, silent. "Probably my imagination," she muttered, shaking her head. She turned back to the mirror, and that was when she saw it. Something was crawling out, crawling from inside the mirror. It was small, partially formed, just like the one she saw in her dream. Its skin was wet and red, its limbs thin and crooked. No face, just that same terrifying single eye in the middle of its head, and it was crying like a baby. Amara's heart exploded in fear. She turned to run, but her foot caught the edge of the rug. She slipped and crashed to the floor with a loud thud, and in that moment, everything went black. Ebube heard the noise from the living room.
Amara!
He rushed into the bedroom and froze at the door. Amara lay on the cold tile floor, her robe soaked in blood, her body still.
Amara!
He dropped to his knees, grabbing her limp body, screaming her name over and over. But Amara didn't answer. Another miscarriage. Amara's eyes fluttered open. She was lying on a hospital bed, hooked to a drip. Her lips were dry. Her stomach felt hollow, and a deep ache spread through her back. She turned her head slightly and saw Booby sleeping with his head resting on the edge of the bed. Her heart ached. She wanted to tell him thank you, but before she could speak, she heard it again. The sound, a baby crying, faint, soft, but real. Her eyes widened.
Amara, you're awake.
Booby said, jolting up from the chair beside her bed. He held her hand gently.
Thank God. Do you feel better now?
Before she could answer, the doctor walked in.
Good morning.
He greeted with a warm smile.
Mrs. Obilo, you're stable now. You will be discharged today.
Ibube smiled.
Thank you, doctor.
The doctor nodded.
She needs rest. Real rest. Take time off work. Eat healthy and avoid every form of stress. Her body's been through a lot. Understood?
Ibube replied, but Amara didn't smile. She nodded weakly, but her mind was far from the conversation. The baby's cries, the mirror, the blood, and the secret she had buried all those years ago. She had never told anyone, not even Booby, what she had done as a young girl. Not about the abortions, not about the grave under the mango tree. And now, the silence was eating her alive. The fear wouldn't go. The guilt wouldn't fade. She knew she had to act fast before the dead dragged her with them. Amara sat on the edge of the bed, her phone pressed against her ear, her fingers trembling slightly. The room was quiet, but her heart was not. "Tola," she whispered. "Babe, you sound tired. How you dey?" came Tola's voice. "I need to tell you something." She poured it out. Her dreams, the baby cries, the thing in the mirror, the miscarriages, By the time she was done, there was silence on the other end. Tola, are you there? Still silence. Then, finally, Tola sighed. Babe, your case is somehow. This one where spirit they trace person reach house. Amara's breath hitched. This is the first time I am hearing anything like this. Maybe, just maybe you should tell your husband, Tola added, her voice low, and with that, she ended the call. Amara stared at the phone for a long time, then tears slipped down her cheeks. How could she tell her husband that she had killed her unborn children, that their blood might be the reason they couldn't keep a child now? She buried her face in her palms and wept silently because deep down she feared Booby would never look at her the same again. Months passed. No nightmares, no baby cries, no faceless spirits crawling out of mirrors. For the first time in a long while, Amara felt normal again. She smiled more, focused on her skincare business, and even started attending church again. Every now and then, the guilt would crawl up her chest, whispering, "Tell him," but she always pushed it back. Everything seemed fine now. What was the point of dragging the past back? So she convinced herself that it was over. Maybe, just maybe, God had forgiven her. But peace is a dangerous disguise. That afternoon, the house was quiet. Amara lay on the living room couch, tired from the day's hustle. The cool breeze from the AC kissed her skin as she slowly drifted into sleep. Then, suddenly, she screamed! Her stomach had burst open, and from it, babies started falling out, one after another, covered in blood, some with missing limbs, all wailing as they hit the tiled floor. Amara shrieked, her eyes wide, arms flailing, and in that terrifying moment, she jolted awake. It was a dream. She felt something warm between her legs. She looked down. Blood. It was dripping down her thighs, pooling on the floor beneath the couch. Her hands shook violently. Her chest rose and fell in panic. Another miscarriage. The cry escaped her lips, louder than she had ever screamed before. God, please, haven't I suffered enough? She collapsed to the floor, sobbing uncontrollably, and somewhere beneath the mango tree in Enugu, the ground pulsed. Amara lay on the bed, weak and broken. Her eyes were swollen from crying, and her body felt like a shadow of itself. Booby sat quietly beside her, his hands on her leg, concern written all over his face. She couldn't hold it anymore. With trembling lips, she whispered, "Babe, I can't keep this secret anymore." He turned to her, brows furrowed.
What secret?
Tears rolling down her cheeks. The miscarriages, the dreams, the blood. It's not just medical. It's me. It's what I did. Booby's face stiffened, and then she told him everything about the abortions, about the baby that was still moving, and how she buried it alive like garbage. The room felt silent. Booby rose slowly, his face dark with anger.
You knew? You knew all this time that you were the cause of what's happening to us?
He asked, his voice low but trembling.
You watched me pray, worry, bury my dreams of fatherhood, and said nothing.
Booby, please. He didn't let her finish. He stormed out of the room, slamming the door so hard the mirror shook. The next morning, Amara's mother arrived from Enugu. Booby had called her. She sat beside Amara with a tight face. The room was quiet as Booby stood by the window, arms folded. Amara, her mother said softly, "Tell me what happened." With shaking hands and a quivering voice, Amara repeated the story, this time from the beginning. Everything. When she finished, the room was filled with stunned silence. Her mother slowly stood up, face pale. "Amara, so you killed and buried your own child?" Amara broke down completely. "I was young and foolish, Mama. But now I know better. I swear I do." Her mother looked away, her voice thick. There are some things the earth don't forget, Amara. When blood touches the soil, it cries. Amara sniffled, holding her stomach. Mama, what do I do? Her mother turned to face her fully. Go back to that land. Go and beg. Speak to the spirits of the children you turned away. If they don't forgive you, nothing else will. Amara nodded through her tears. She knew what she had to do. It was finally time to face the grave she walked away from. The journey back to Enugu was silent. Amara sat in the back seat of the car, wrapped in a long black scarf. Her face looked smaller than usual, drained, tired, older. Beside her was her mother, lips tight in prayerful silence. Ebube drove without saying a word, eyes locked on the road, pain still fresh in its heart. They didn't come to visit anyone. They came for a grave. By noon, they arrived at the old compound where Tola used to live. The place was almost abandoned now. The buildings looked older, paint peeling off, silence thick in the air. No one stopped them as they made their way through the overgrown backyard toward the mango tree. Amara's heart pounded as they stepped closer. The memories came flooding back, but as they approached the spot, Amara froze. Chinekenda, her mother whispered. The earth was open. Not dug, not tempered with, split, cracked wide open like something had forced its way out from beneath. Amara staggered backwards, covering her mouth. Ebube stepped forward, confused.
What is this?
No, Amara muttered, falling to her knees. No, but this is not how we left it. Then her mother bent and touched the soil. It was warm, soft, beaten like it was alive. It is not sleeping anymore, her mother said, voice shaking. It has been waiting. As they stood in silence beside the broken grave, Ebube shook his head slowly, turned away from Amara and walked to his car. Ebube, please, she cried, reaching for him. But he didn't look back. He entered the vehicle and drove off. Amara collapsed to the ground, weeping. Her mother pulled her close. Enough of the crying, she said firmly. If we are going to fix this, you need to comport yourself. Let us get through this once and for all. Amara wiped her face, nodding weakly. They walked to the main road, flagged down a taxi, and headed straight to Mama Uju, an old woman her mother believed could help. Mama Uju lived in a fading mud house at the edge of town. Her hair was all white, one eye clouded with blindness, and her fingers wrinkled like old tree roots. She didn't ask what brought them. She just stared at Amara for a long time, then spoke. The one you buried is out, and it is very angry, you. Amara froze. Her voice trembled. What does he want? To destroy you. Mama Uju replied calmly. You struck it into the earth without love, without honor. It is not alone. It now have friends. You must appease them. Appease what? Amara's mother asked. How? Mama Uju looked straight at Amara instead. Go to any orphanage in this town. Buy food, clothes, gifts. Stay with the children. Play with them. Care for them. Make them happy. Amara's mother blinked. Is that all? Mama Uju chuckled softly. No. Do it again and again and again until the children begin to call you mommy. Amara's eyes widened. And if they don't, the old woman's voice dropped, then you will never be able to bear your own children. Try to win their hearts. It is only when the unloved begin to see you as a mother that the ones you cast away will let you have your own children. After leaving Mama Uju's place, Amara knew she had to fix more than just her past. She had to fix her home. With swollen eyes and a heavy heart, she headed straight to her family house. Her mother followed quietly behind, unsure what they would meet. But as they walked in through the door, they met Ebube already sitting in the living room, waiting. He looked up as they entered, his eyes cold, unreadable. Amara rushed to him. Mama, please, I am sorry. I should have told you everything. Ebube's face was cold, his voice even colder as he raised his hand.
Don't! Just stop!
His voice was low but sharp.
You let me cry and pray and suffer while you knew the truth. I needed your honesty, not your silence.
Amara's mother stepped forward. Ogo, Bikozenu. But Ebube shook his head.
I'm not doing this. Go fix yourself,
he said, pointing at Amara. He picked up his bag, got into his car, and drove back to Port Harcourt, leaving Amara broken in the arms of her mother. For 2 days, Amara didn't eat, she didn't bathe, she didn't speak. Her mother sat beside her on the bed and held her like a baby. Use this time to fix yourself, Amara. Fix your life. Rebuild it piece by piece. Then, maybe, you can win back your husband. But for now, do what you have to do. The next morning, Amara wiped her tears and took a deep breath. She went to Linda's orphanage. She bought food, toys, clothes. She didn't drop them off. She stayed, played with the children, read to them, washed their clothes, laughed with them. She came twice a week, then 3 times, then almost every day. And with time, the children began to love her, not out of obligation, but because they felt her heart. And somehow, even Amara forgot the reason she started coming in the first place. This had become home. One sunny afternoon, Amara walked into the orphanage holding a basket of fruits. As she walked through the gate, one little boy pointed and shouted, "Mommy is coming!" The other kids stared and screamed, "Mommy, oyoyo, mommy, oyoyo!" They ran toward her, hugging her, legs, waist, hands, laughing, singing. Tears filled Amara's eyes, but it wasn't because they called her mommy, it was because they meant it. Days later, as Amara folded clothes in the orphanage, a familiar voice echoed from behind her. She turned. It was Booby. He walked towards her slowly, his eyes scanning the children who now clung to her, laughing and singing.
I watched you for weeks,
he said softly.
I wanted to see if you're truly changed, Amara. I see you now.
She ran into his arms sobbing. They hugged tightly, the children clapping without knowing why. And just like that, Amara returned to Port Harcourt with her husband. One night, Amara found herself at the orphanage again, alone this time, fetching water from the old well. As she pulled the bucket up, she looked inside and gasped. Lying in the water was a beautiful little baby. And in that moment, Amara jolted awake in fear, sweating. Her first instinct was to touch between her legs. No blood. She lay back slowly, her hand resting on her belly, her eyes wet, but this time with joy. A broad smile spread across her face. 7 months later, Amara gave birth to a healthy baby girl. The same hospital that had seen her bleed now echoed with the baby's first cry. She named her Amarachi, meaning God's grace, because truly grace had spoken for her. Some mistakes leave scars that silence cannot hide, but when we confront them, even the spirit of the broken can choose to bless again. What we bury in guilt will grow in grief, but what we face in truth can be healed by grace. True repentance can reopen doors, even the dead once shut. If you enjoyed this story and would love to see more interesting stories, please consider subscribing to this channel, not forgetting to turn on your post notification icon so that once another video is being posted, you will be the first to be notified. Till we meet again in my next video, remain blessed.